Friends, I am Akşemseddin. They call me the spiritual conqueror of Istanbul, because I gave moral support to the Sultan and the army during the conquest of Istanbul, and made them believe in the conquest. I am one of the most important scholars of my time. My real name is Mehmet Şemseddin. I was born in Damascus in 1389. We were 12 brothers and sisters. Our parental lineage goes back to the first caliph, His Holiness Abu Bakr. My father, Sheikh Hamza, was a smiling, loving man who loved all his children very much. I had my primary education from my father. He taught me to be organized and to work with discipline. He used to say that Cosmos is a huge book to be read on the nature walks we took together. He used to tell me, reading starts with seeing, my son. Look, so you can see. See, so that you can read. Read, so that you can increase the value of your life with knowledge. There are verses everywhere for those who know how to read. Like every child, I loved to play and have fun, and enjoyed learning new things. My dear father was my only example, my hero whom I admired. I wanted to be a wise person like my father. My grandfather, Sheikh Haji Ali, was a great scholar. He had a powerful, imposing appearance. He taught me to ride a horse and to wield a sword. We used to go to nearby villages and help those in need that my grandfather had chosen beforehand. These journeys became sweet by the wonderful stories my grandfather told me. I would be very happy to meet his students wherever we went, who respected him and wanted to get his opinion. Thanks to him, I learned how comforting it is to thrust out a hand for those in need. I loved reading books. I decided to become a Hafiz thanks to my love for Quran lessons. I was memorizing the verses, and as I memorized, I realized that I was jogging my mind. At the age of 7, I memorized the entire Quran and became a Hafiz. Then we migrated from Damascus to Amasya. I completed my education in madrasas in Amasya and Çorum and became a mudaris in Çorum. In addition to the religious sciences I studied, I also had a great interest in medicine and pharmacy. I was constantly reading and working hard. I researched why people get sick and how they can get better. I have done important studies on infectious disease. I discovered that disease are transmitted from person to person in the form of seeds too small to be seen with the naked eye. Thus, I became the first person in history to speak of microbe. The book's named Maddetul Hayat, Hali Mushkilat, and Risaletun Nuriye, which I wrote as a result of my research on medical science, are my best known works. I loved being a teacher as much as I loved doing research. I worked in Ottoman madrasas for many years and I trained hundreds of students. But I was not contented with that. I quit being a professor and started to travel to different cities. I wanted to turn my knowledge into wisdom, because knowledge was of value to be obtained through book, and wisdom was the one gained by reading the universe in life. First, I went to Iran. I studied the cultures, beliefs, and values of the people there. Then I decided to return to Anatolia. I came to Ankara after a long journey. Here, I met one of the esteemed scholars, a man of heart, Hacı Bayramı Veli Efendi. He was the one who nicknamed me White, because I wore white. Thanks to the discipline I learned from him and the lessons he taught, my worldview became clearer. A person should learn only for the sake of Allah throughout his life and be useful to himself and people with what he learns. Murad II asked me to be the teacher of his prince, Fatih Sultan Mehmed. For the conquest of Istanbul, the young Fatih Sultan Mehmed would lead the army. With the advice and lessons I gave him, I encouraged him to achieve a great victory. Istanbul was conquered by the determination of the soldiers and the strength of Fatih, of the commander. When we entered the city on white horses, people welcomed us happily with flowers. Fatih Sultan Mehmed introduced me to the people who greeted us and said, "He is my teacher. He is the spiritual conqueror of the city." He showed me his love and respect. 3 days after the conquest, Hagia Sophia was turned into a mosque. Here, I became the imam and led the first Friday prayer. The big city of Istanbul was conquered with great difficulty. It required patience and faith. The advice I gave to young Fatih, his respect for my word, gave him strength in this difficult process. Children, you should also listen carefully to what your elders and teachers have taught you. Do not drift away from friendship, respect, and tolerance. Never stop working and being determined. Believe in yourself more than anyone else that you will succeed.